Are you ready?
In 1994, women are officially banned from serving in combat roles, although before the ban, they had served in positions that did not deal with direct combat. But until January 24, 2013, the ban was lifted, and now women are able to serve not only in roles of medic or backup or vehicle operation, but as well as frontline combat positions. And of course, the Second Affirmative and I would like to reverse this policy that women in the U.S. military should not be allowed to serve in frontline combat positions. And here are the reasons why. Placing women in frontline combat roles may lead to sexual harassment or assault by their male comrades, vice versa. Second, women are more likely to develop post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, than men are. First, women who serve in the frontline combat do have a higher chance of being sexually harassed or assaulted. Most of the time, when they're not fighting their enemies, they will most likely be looking for or hiding in a shelter with their fellow male comrades. Women are not going to be in a separate environment from the men to prevent sexual assaults or harassment under a life-threatening situation. First, according to Wyatt Olson, a writer of staff of Stars and Stripes, published in the August edition of Women Health Issue Journal, a study shows that more than 280,000 women have deployed in Afghanistan and Iraq since 9/11, and the youngest deployed women born after 1980 were more than 5 times more likely to report sexual assault than their older counterparts. The rates of sexual harassment and assault vary by branch of service. For example, the rate of sexual harassment for women in the Air Force and Navy was lowest at 5.8%. That rate, the rate in Army was 10.3%, with the Marines having the highest at 13.3%. The study also said that women who experience combat while deployed are not only in more stressful and dangerous circumstances, but they may also find themselves in more traditionally male-dominated environments compared with the other deployed women. In an article of Recruit of Female Soldiers into Prostitution, Chris McGuinness, Herald staff writer of KTH News, said that Master Sergeant Brad Grimms, 37 years old, was found guilty of conspiring to patronize a prostitute and solicitation to commit adultery. He will be demoted to Sergeant First Class and will receive letter of reprimand. The verdict was handed down by a 6-person jury after nearly 2 hours of deliberation. Grimes conspired with another Foothood non-commissioned officer, Sergeant First Class Gregory McQueen, to arrange to have sex with a female private first class at the Kelvin La Quinte in February 2013. According to the prosecutors, both Grimes and the female private are married. According to Christopher Munsey, the monitor staff of American Psychological Association, the psychologists have found that women who experience sexual harassment or sexual assault before or during their military service are more likely to suffer post-traumatic stress disorder than those who were not sexually assaulted. This leads to my next claim that women are more likely to develop PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, than men are. And in fact, PTSD in women is partially resulted from sexual harassment or assault. One of the focus has been PTSD among women. Looking at it one way, women who enter military service at start has a disadvantage when it comes to experiencing PTSD, because compared to men, nearly twice as many civilian women report PTSD than civilian, according to the review of 25 years of research on sex difference and trauma and PTSD published in Psychological Bulletin, Volume 132. The link between PTSD and previous sex trauma made particularly important findings since sexual harassment and assault continue to be significant problems in military for men and women. 1 in 5 women veterans who seek healthcare services from the Department of Veterans Affairs reported experiencing military sexual trauma. An incident of sexual assault or severe harassment while in uniform. These women were more than 8 times likely to be diagnosed with PTSD as compared to women who did not report these experiences. According to a study published in December 2007 in American Journal of Public Health, volume 97. In a study of 64 traumatized patients conducted by Dr. Carrie Ressler from Emory University, researchers focused on a particular hormone-like molecule called PACAP. It stands for pituitary something polypeptide, which is known to affect response to stress on a cellular level. They found patients who suffer from PTSD had a high level of PACAP than patients without the psychiatric disorder. And women are usually more diagnosed than men to have PACAP. But when the researchers split the data gender, they found that association between PACAP and PTSD was significant only in women. So scientists designed a follow-up study with 74 traumatized women patients at the same hospital. So I hope you agree with me that placing women in the military is not a good idea.